Hi guys, I made a quick video today. I did the rear rotors on my Impala today, and I did it as an afterthought. I figured while I'm at it I may as well film. Well, rushing through it and running my mouth, I said a few items of misinformation. It's not a 14mm socket, it's a 13mm socket, and you do not use white lithium grease on the pins on the calipers. White lithium grease is good for drum brakes, for the backing pad and whatnot. It's a low heat grease. It cannot withstand the heat generated on disc brakes. I meant to say silicone based brake grease. Okay, so keep that in mind, and excuse me, I apologize about making a mistake during the video, and don't pay attention to what I said there. Thanks guys, enjoy the video. Bye bye. Hopefully it's useful information for you. Take care. Servicing your brakes, when you take the caliper off, make sure these pins are well lubricated. You could disassemble it and put white lithium brake grease on there, high temp grease. It's safe for the rubber boots, and you also want to lubricate your contact points a little bit on the pads where they touch. Do not use regular grease. It dries up, actually reduces movement. It's not made to handle that high temperature exposure that the brakes get. All right. Now these are directional with the way I put drilled and slotted on, like I mentioned. Power Stop brand. They're great. I love them. I've been using them for quite a while. I had a set of front rotors last me almost 6 years, and I do an average of about 100 miles a day on the car, so I would say that's good durability. So I got a couple of Mercedes, and I hear everybody praising the Achy Bono, and I'm just going to go with Power Stop on mine. I found a brand that's reasonably priced, holds up well, and I'm going to stick to that. Clean up your back plate here as best as you can, and corrosion off. People may freak out. I put never seize on my bolts on brake parts. I will never seize the retainer bolts for the brake caliper bracket. I've never had a set of brakes come apart. As long as they're torqued correctly, it has not been an issue. So I like them to come back apart when I need to work on them in the future. Googled the torque spec on this, and I got 75 foot-pounds on the bracket bolt torque. Same for the front. I'm not going to use a torque wrench. I'm just going to go by feel. I've done these a lot of times, and I'm pretty confident that I can get it without torquing it. I'm not recommending you do that. Do what you feel comfortable with. I'm comfortable with doing it by feel. And like I said, I am putting copper never seize on here. Some people will freak out about that. I may get negative comments. It's what I do. I'm not telling you it's what you should do, but I've always had success with getting things disassembled when I do this. I don't go crazy with it. It's a little dab on there, and it keeps them from seizing up. I live in upstate New York, and road salt is a bitch on things. And I've had things that do not come apart because of it. And I don't want to go through that if I have to pull these brackets off again at another date. Okay? Just an opinion. You know the saying with that. Everybody's got one, right? Like I said, I'm not worried about throwing new pads on here because I'm going to be gentle with this when I first start braking with it, and those pads will seat themselves to the new rotor. I'm not that concerned with it. And this is how simple it is to do brakes on an 08 Impala. Don't spend money going to these garages and take it to the cleaners. Do your own work. Save yourself a lot of money, and you know what? You'll wind up with better parts because you won't get the cheapest shit that you can possibly get from the warehouse at these parts stores. That's what these garages do. They throw the cheapest crap they can get their hands on your vehicle and mark it up like crazy on you. Buddy of mine was getting stuff from AutoZone, Duralast products, front end components. Absolute garbage. They didn't even last 18 months. 16 months his wheels were ready to fall off. He put front control arms on with the I think they had riveted in ball joints on them. He didn't even get 16 months out of them, and it was to catastrophic failure. The front wheels were ready to fall off of the car. That's crazy. I'm not going to put anything with that type of quality on my vehicle. I just did tie rod ends on here, and I went with Moog. One thing I've learned, cheap is expensive. Cut corners on parts, you're going to pay for it in the long run. And that's tight enough. Alright, that's one side done. Now I got to put my Torx bolt in, my retainer bolt. And that's it for that side. Alright, we'll get back to the next side. And I did want to mention, when you are done with your brake job, get in your car and pump your brakes until they get nice and firm and the pedal comes up. You don't want to jump in the car, start it up and throw it in gear. If you just spread your pads out, you push fluid back up into the reservoir. You want to make sure you pump your brakes back up and get a nice solid pedal, or you're going to drive into a wall or someone, and that is not good scene. Okay guys, bye bye. One more note, after you snug up your lug nuts, lower the car, don't forget to torque them to spec. I think these are 114. I myself go a little lighter on my torque. I only go a little over 100 pounds. Like I said, do what you're comfortable with, and follow the guides. Don't go by what I say. It's just what I do on my cars. I haven't had an issue, but I'm not telling you to do it on yours. I think you'd be much more comfortable if you went with the factory torque spec. I'm not going much under that, just a little bit, but do it in this crisscross pattern. If you fail to torque your lug nuts down, uneven pressure on the brake components can cause them to warp out of shape as well. So always torque them. Never just tighten them down with an impact gun. That is a terrible practice, and I see garages doing that all over the place, and they just basically don't give a shit because it's not their car. So use a torque wrench and your jobs will last a lot longer. You'll see a difference. And that's it, guys. That's it. I'm finally done. I'm finally going to shut up. Take care. Bye-bye.